Wow, that's quite an amazing introduction, and now we've got to keep up the expectation at that level. But thanks, Brian, for making this, and we've got 15 minutes. The world has really changed in the last 2 years. There's so much of change in terms of digital adoption. We're calling this Retail Tech Summit now. And there's changes happening in the way some of the startups are coming up. There's changes in the area of overall horizontal and vertical integration in retail, aggregation of Kirana stores, small formats. In this context, it'll be great to hear from you, Brian. How do you think the overall consumer shopping behavior is changing, especially keeping in mind consumer electronics?
Thanks. It's great to be here today, and I'm wondering why it's so cold in here, though. That's kind of some technology I think we need to look into. I should have brought my coat. I mean, it's cold, right? Is it just me, or I mean, my toes are cold.
Ladies, sir, they've actually overpaid the electricity bill. When you pay more than what they deserve, they make it this cold.
Okay, fair enough.
But everyone in the hall is warm-hearted, let me tell you.
It's like the voice of God coming from somewhere. I'm like looking around. What's happening here?
Thank you for saying God. I thought you'd say the devil.
Well, maybe later I will think that. So I think you were asking about like how has the experience changed, or maybe what the expectations are changing, or how is the world different from a store standpoint. And I think obviously nowadays, consumers have so many choices. I've been in India quite a while, for almost 12 years. And just since I've been here, when I joined here, there was no e-commerce in India. I mean, there was a little bit, but no Flipkart, no Amazon. Amazon was just getting ready to launch. So obviously that changed the dynamic a lot, and just the availability and how the penetration has gone up in my business. Electronics has changed a lot. So, I mean, what does that mean, for us? It really puts us on a notice. I think a lot of retail companies and retailers got lazy to a sense that they just opened the stores and they put products on the shelves and customers would come by because they didn't have any choices. Now you really have to give a value to every customer that comes in. And in our business, which is, a semi-assisted sell, people just don't, put stuff in a basket and go. But the knowledge of our people, the ability to engage the customers, the quality of the displays, the total store experience has to be really top notch, or your customers won't be there for you.
Thanks, Brian. And the last 2 years, if you've seen, there's been quite a bit of change in the way retail sector unit economics are working out. I mean, real estate rentals, people costs, overall margins, the expectation of discounts. Do you see there's a much more virtual optionality to the whole retail model that's building, which could include virtual stores, endless aisles? And is that something that's central to your agenda?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good question. And I think all the pieces are there that we can see that starting to develop sometime in the near future. What that looks like, I don't know that I'm clear about that. Like, yeah, I mean, I think augmented reality and virtual reality and how people interact and the ability to kind of, have more technology kind of in the assistance of the whole process. Yeah, I mean, people ask me a lot, and most conferences I go, they'll always ask me is, what's going to win? Is it going to be retail stores, or, are you worried about going out of business because of online? And it's really not online that I'm worried about. I mean, that is a threat, obviously. But I think the virtual reality and really the integration between online and offline and creating a whole different type of experience, yeah, I can see that happening over the next few years. I wouldn't say it's in our future next year, and how we adapt to that and how we choose to engage in that technology and that experience, I guess, kind of remains to be seen to a point. But definitely, the writing on the wall is there, no doubt.
And what about the store model in terms of size? I know of companies that are looking at much smaller stores now with a hyperlocal delivery model. Do you think that the same store concept is going to work, or is there a more efficient way, serving greater catchments, lesser number of stores, but augmented with virtual delivery?
Well, I think that's up to the customers, and typically what we learn in our environment. So store size is a challenge because if you have big a store and you don't have enough products to fill it up, obviously. Okay, well, first I was cold. Now I think I'm hearing a bell in my ear, or is that also should go to the hospital or something after this, huh? This ringing I keep hearing over here. Anyway, so I think the size of the store is we're always playing with that, and for us it seems to be about 11 to 12,000 square feet, and that really seems about right. We've tried smaller stores. It's hard to make it work because if you don't have all your competition, at least one or two competitors will have a big assortment than that. And, customers who do like to go to a store, the main reason they like to go to stores is because they like to see a big assortment. They like to see all the options that are available. And since we're in the business of appliances, they take up a lot of space. Obviously, we sell TVs. They take up a lot of space. And stuff like phones and laptops, certainly less space. So we've tried smaller concept stores. I don't think they work very well because it kind of is counterintuitive to the whole store experience thing. And in my view, customers want to experience all the products, and you've got to have them there. So I don't think so in our space. I know our competitors tried it too, and they've gone back to a bigger design. We're also seeing a lot of technology develop in some of the bigger products. Like just when I moved here, the biggest TVs we sold were 42 inches. Now we sell regularly 65-inch TVs every day. We didn't have side-by-sides back then. Now, of course, we have huge, side-by-side refrigerators. So the products we sell are also getting less expensive and also bigger at the same time and more technology advanced. So I think to properly give that experience, you have to commit to a decent store size,
And you seem to be a proponent of the touch and feel need of the consumer when it comes to electronics. How do you see technology eventually addressing that need to some extent, not in totality? I understand the concepts of service, post-sale service, but in the whole buying process, do you see, even from your experience in the U.S. market, do you see that happening, and what could one watch out for?
Well, I'm really bad at predicting the future, so I've been in the electronics business for over 30 years, so I've seen from VCRs to what we have now, and I don't know if I have the imagination to see some of that stuff, but I guess if I'm kind of betting, yes, I definitely see that technology will continue to evolve to create a whole different type of store experience than we're used to. See, right now, like. If you take social media, for example, I would have never realized how social media would become. I thought it was just going to be posting videos and pictures and talking to some of your old friends, but now it's so interactive, right? And so, but like currently shopping is not just, you don't just go to a store to get the experience of the products. You also get to go to the store. It's a family experience. And if it's an event, you go out somewhere, you engage with people. And I guess what I'm trying to say in the long term is I saw that change with social media a lot. So yeah, I could definitely see the change with stores. And there might be a time in our lifetime where, people don't really go to stores like we have them now, or we go to them and maybe there's really nothing in there but the ability to you create like a virtual store where you can see things and you can almost do everything but touch and feel them, literally. But you can see them, and they look three-dimensional, and you can see the differences between products, and they're to scale when you want to see it. So I can see that happening. I'm not saying it's going to, and it's hopefully it's going to happen after I retire, but yeah, I would think so.
Now, we've spoken about the consumer, we've spoken about the future business models. Tell us something about what's happening in terms of improving retail operations using technology. How does one really look at driving greater efficiencies, whether it's manpower productivity, space productivity, or even throughputs, price realization, use of analytics? Are there some things that you could perhaps share?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of changes that we could talk all day just about technology, both on a front end and a back end. I mean, the way that we manage inventory now, and we know how products sell and how quickly they sell and how quickly they have to be forecasted and replenished. Just the technology on that alone is enormous. And probably the changes I've seen the most as it relates to real-time transparency that you can provide the customer. So obviously a customer comes in now, once they buy something, they can literally track to the minute when it comes to their house. And they can also track to the minute when someone is going to come and install the product. And if they have questions, they can go online and do live chats and get answers like, oh, my TV stopped working or the sound is bad. And someone will chat with them. If that doesn't work, they'll send someone to the house, and same thing. You chat, you can see them all the way as they come to your house. You know when they're there, when they leave, you're able to give feedback on that. So I think technology, like, again, just a few years ago when even I moved here, everything was kind of a written survey. We didn't really know what was happening. We just didn't know our customer now. The amount of technology that's benefited us to get to know our customer in real time and continue to update that profile. I mean, that's probably the biggest stuff I would talk about.
Thank you, Brian. I think we've had a power-packed 15 minutes. We've covered a lot of topics. Thanks a lot, and really look forward to the rest of the sessions. Thanks a lot for your insights.
Yeah, thank you for your questions. They're never nice questions, and you're very polite, and I appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. I appreciate it too. Thank you.